physically not supposed to eat alone.
It's your body, when you need to eat, you need to eat.
Scientifically, it's not good. It's been studied in labs and stuff. You're not supposed to eat alone. Now, if you have to, then you ask God to forgive you. But it really means that in the Bible, thou shalt not live by bread alone. It means that you shall eat with your friends and family. It means don't hog the food down by yourself. Share the food with others. That's what the scripture's all about. Now, of course, theologians and ministers and all that stuff, they'll tell you different because they're controlled by something else. But it really does mean that in the Bible, thou shalt not eat alone. See, Jesus went off into the desert. Here.
That's it.
I'm going to tell the story.
I know. It's going to take
Jesus went off into the desert to be alone, to fight temptation and the devil. And the devil offered him a loaf of bread that he turned he transformed a stone into a loaf of bread. And he told Jesus, he said, here you go, Jesus, have some bread. And Jesus said, thou shalt not live by bread alone, but to the glory of the Lord. Meaning the bread is to the glory of the Lord. So if you feel sharing your food with other people is glorifying to the world, or to glorifying to God, well, both, but glorifying to God, then you share your food with others, or you at least eat within others' company. It's okay to sit at a table by yourself and eat the food by yourself if other people are in the room. But if you go off somewhere, if you eat by yourself, you have to ask God to forgive you. That's what you do. You say, Lord, I'm hungry. I'm by myself. Forgive me for not sharing this food with somebody else, right? So you want to share the food. See, Waze is really mad. Waze gets mad when I talk about God and stuff like that, because Waze thinks it's kind of like R2-D2 getting upset when Luke Skywalker is talking to Princess Leia. Give me a second. Says, he who believes has eternal life, John 6:47. What do you think about that?
Go into the world with gospel.
Oh, nice answer.
Boo, there's a ghost. Hey, how are you? run it.
Kitty, calm down. Calm down. It's not real. Remember, you're just a cat in a room. It's not real. Just you can't smell it. It's not real. Sorry, claw. No, Kitty, don't. Claws this TV screen sometimes. Now, Kitty, just calm down. Focus. Just take a breath. It's okay. I know you're upset. It's not real, Kitty. It's not real. Okay, it's a representation of a squirrel. It's not a real squirrel, Kitty, so don't panic. All right? Just calm down. Take a breath. I know you got excited, but it's not real. I'm trying to teach my cat that television's not real. It's not a real thing, Kitty. I know it bothers you. You're emotional about it right now. You want to get that squirrel, but it's not a real thing. Okay, it's imaginary. Okay, it has a lot of power over you. I know you're a cat, but it's not a real thing. It's two-dimensional television. Okay, it's yeah. There you go. Now reject it. Go do something else. Very good. My cat likes squirrel stuff. I know you're upset, Kitty. I know. I'd be upset too, but it's not a real squirrel. I mean, it is a real squirrel, but it's not. It's basically, it's on a television screen. I know, Kitty. I know you're upset. I know, it's my fault. I know, Kitty. I know. It's funny. Now the squirrel's gonna get launched by a catapult. Okay, I know you wanna watch, you wanna see it happen. Well, here's the time to do it right now. Kitty, watch it now, hurry. The squirrel's gonna get, you're missing it. The squirrel's gonna get in there and get launched by a catapult. Remember, squirrels can fly hundreds and hundreds of feet in the air. Even sometimes they've said up to 100 stories high and have been able to fly and glide to their landing of. They can jump out of an airplane and survive it. Their parachutes. Okay, it's okay, Kitty. It's okay. Calm down. It's okay. I know you care. I know, but just watch. Okay? It's okay. The squirrel's gonna get it. Here he goes. But he'll survive it, so don't worry. I know it takes a moment. No, I know, kitty, I know. Where'd you go? Here he goes. He's about to get it. Don't worry, kitty. He's gonna fly. He's gonna be a flying squirrel here in a minute. There's a train over there. There he goes.
Billboards up top, and this was the office right here, through these doors, right over there. Still looks the same, kind of. And what I just showed is adjacent to the parking structure. It all kind of looks the same, so I'm not going to be able to really match it up because I can't get it.
Cardboard.
See, as you placed that there, gravity took over its job and just kind of pulled everything down to the ground.
I don't want the cat eating this because then, you know.
Right.
I told him I don't want him. Get hurt. RR. It could have been the other way.
I never let that motherfucker make it.
So you need 20 minutes to get there. We cut that close.
I know where it's at. We've been there before.
We have?
Yeah, we have. follow the Chosen One, well, if you follow the Chosen One in the story that I'm trying to get together as a feature, the thing about Peter Miller is that he's disposable to the secret society. Yeah, they don't really give him a phone. They don't really give him anything other than the card. So the card, it looks like a debit card, only it kind of looks almost like a business card. It's kind of funny how it works, but it actually works. He can put it up to any type of point of sale system, and it'll buy whatever he needs. So he knows that if he helps the secret society people, that they'll pay him with his card, and if he stops helping them, then the card no longer works. So he does find these dead bodies around town, one being in the back of like a car, like a normal car, I don't know, economy-sized car parked downtown. Now, the reason why he knows that the body's there is because he wakes up with a map under his head and instructions. The instructions tell him basically where the location of the car is. Then he follows the map, and then it tells him to open the trunk with this little device, like a fob or something like that. The trunk opens, and the dead body's in there in a body bag. Then it has maps on where to go. He takes that map, and he follows the map to go to this field out in the middle of nowhere. And in the middle of the field is a large door, like a door frame, that's closed. The door's closed. And he walks up to the door, he opens the door, and then he tosses the body through the door. And on the other side of the door is a pit with light coming up from it. And not real fancy, you don't need CGI or anything. You just use you can even use a strobe light at the bottom of the pit. So the strobe light is kind of, shining upward. And then the body goes through the door and into this pit of light. And that's what his job is. So then he goes back downtown, curls up next to a dumpster, and the next day he wakes up and there's another note under his head. And he follows that note to the queue, which leads to a broom closet in some office. And there's a body there. So his trick there is, how does he get the body from the broom closet to the rental car? Or we would think it's a rental car. And then he has to dump the body from the trunk back into the field. He has to go back to the field because the map tells him to do that. Now finally he goes to the third body, which is also in a trunk of a car. When he opens it, there's a young girl in there in a body bag. He takes that, what he thinks is a dead body, and he hears movement or something and he unzips it, and the little girl's alive and her eyes open. Now he realizes he has a live person, which he decides not to throw that body through the door. Then he becomes a custodian of that. Well, he becomes a responsibility, or he becomes accountable for the girl. So he has to kind of haul her around, and then when he doesn't follow the instructions, the card doesn't work. So he has to, the rest of the movie, he has to take care of her, and kind of in a way running from the secret society, because she was supposed to be dead, and they don't know why she wasn't. And so the rest of the story is kind of, there's another story that's similar. I think it's called Midnight Special. I wrote this one before any of those stories that I had seen. I started writing The Chosen One probably in early 90s, 92, maybe 93. It was before I seen any of these other movies that had come about. But The Broken Pocket Watch was also a title of The Chosen One as well, and Peter Miller. And the broken pocket watch is also kept with him. So it breaks at the beginning of the film. We see the broken pocket watch kind of stop ticking. And that's whenever he goes into his homelessness. And then after a while, because you get the first part of his life, where he arrives to Fort Worth. And when the broken pocket watch stops, when time stops, then he gives up. His hope ceases. So he curls up next to a dumpster. And then time goes by. I don't know how much time. And then you see that he's been there for quite a bit of time. Smells bad. His hair's looks kind of cast away. And Cast Away in Tom Hanks, where he's got that big beard and he's kind of gaunt and he's been there for too long. Well, that's when the secret society finds him. And that's when they begin to employ him. And that's when the story starts. And then he sees the girl in the trunk. and then that's the next inciting incident that leads to the rest of the story to the end. And he has to escape this secret society. Now, the secret society is very secret. They don't work with the government, nothing like that. We don't know where they come from. We don't know if they're aliens, UFO. They're never explained. It's never explained. We just know that they wear these dark suits with sunglasses. Very, very similar to Men in Black. But they don't have any special devices that come out that look for aliens. They don't have any gimmicky things like that. They're just simply a society, and they cover up their eyes, and they talk to Peter Miller. So there's really no need for any CGI in it at all. No CGI, nothing like that. But there are some chase sequences with the Secret Society people, and they do resemble what you would think of like the FBI kind of thing. So, you know, that's some components of the story, some components of the plot. And of course the character, Peter Miller, we know, was probably once something like a banker or someone maybe on Wall Street. So he's had this history of making a lot of money. And then something happens to him, and he's always put his hope in this watch that he's had since his great-grandfather passed it down from World War I, and then was passed it through World War II. Very similar to the watch that's in Pulp Fiction. The only thing is I wrote this before Pulp Fiction. So I wrote this story before Pulp Fiction. It may have been the reason why I walked out of Pulp Fiction. But the broken pocket watch is an important aspect of the film, because it's broken. It doesn't work. It's like time has stopped. Relatively, there is kind of moments where the city looks empty. I forgot, of course, the saxophone player. Right. There's a saxophone player in it as well, that you hear his saxophone throughout the city. And Peter can really hear it well. And we don't know if the saxophone player is part of the secret society or if he's just a jazz artist that's just playing in some abandoned apartment in Fort Worth, or like a desolate apartment, you know, not necessarily abandoned, but maybe like a rundown apartment in some downtown area of Fort Worth. Or it could be a nice apartment. You know, it doesn't really matter. I'm just imagining it as kind of an empty apartment. Think of the conversation with the conversation is also an influence on it too. Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation with Gene Hackman. The whole thing is the fact that he plays the saxophone in it. But Peter Miller doesn't play the saxophone, but he hears it. And he sees a saxophone at a music shop too. These are important aspects to it as well. So he goes by a music shop, he looks inside, and he sees the saxophone. Then later he starts to hear it. Anyway, it's kind of a dream. That's what I compare it to the most. Is The Chosen One is kind of a dream story, is what I would call it.